You want to work on any?
Right, I'll play in regular golf competitions.
Okay.
So probably play them next weekend.
Okay. So you play golf competitions. You might be playing one next weekend. Is that?
Yeah, they're more or less every weekend.
Okay, more or less every weekend. The more specific you can be about the tournament,
Right.
the better it is. You don't have to be. I'm not saying you have to be. Yet in saying that, it's useful to be very specific about the time of the tournament. You might say, okay, well next week I'm playing in a tournament, 9 o'clock in the morning, at such an environment. The more specific you are, the better it is. But if the person you're working with hasn't got anything specific in mind, then you can still anchor a resource as well. So next week, what day would it be?
Well, actually, there's one in July the 5th, Friday the July the 5th, that I'm definitely playing. And
Friday, July 5th, definitely playing.
yeah.
Okay. And you know where the tournament is?
Do you know where it is, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in County Derry.
Okay. At what time does it start?
9:22.
9:22.
That's my tea time.
Is that precise? I did say to be precise, but 9:22.
I got my tea time yesterday.
Yeah, and 30 seconds.
Yeah, but that's when you start thing, when you team off. That's to be specific.
Yeah. Definitely. So July the 5th, County Derry, 9:22 a.m. on a Friday. You're out there. It's showtime. Okay. And in your own mind, how would you like to feel going into this event? What would you like to be going into the event? What would work for you?
I want to be confident, but also have a sense of calm where I can flow.
Okay. And what's really important is that we remain neutral at this point here. We don't put any ideas into the client's head. So we want to ask them what is right for them. We don't make suggestions. Well, I certainly don't make suggestions because that's my reference. Confidence to me will mean something different to the person I'm working with. Okay, so give them time if they're not quite sure. Just give them time to decide what is right for them going into that situation. Because remember, words are just labels. Their association of that word might be different to yours. So it might be worth saying, okay, going into that tournament, where do you want to be mentally? And then I'll give you an understanding of where they want to be. If you're struggling with that, then just give them time, or you might probe a little bit and say, okay, has there been a tournament you played really well? How would you describe your mindset in that tournament? Has there been a time, or going into that tournament, what do you think will give the best chance to succeed? Where would you want your mind to be? So just, a few questions here and there. So confidence, being calm and letting things flow is where you want to be in that tournament. Has there been times when you were in that state in different situations?
Yeah, not often.
Okay. Not often, okay. Now, if they've got a reference point, great. We'll work with the reference point for now. If they haven't got the reference point, well, like we mentioned earlier, what you would ask the person is what state do they think would be the best place for them to be mentally in that tournament coming up, or the nearest thing to the state that they mentioned, or maybe even ask them someone who is in that state. You might have a Centre of Excellence. Well, that's wrong with you've been there before, okay? Okay. Do you remember the time that you were in that state? You mentioned not often. Do you remember that time?
I do remember it, yeah.
Okay. I want you to just experience that time and just engage in that time. So if you close your eyes, really relax. I'm going to count back from 3 to 1. As I count back from 3 to 1, just imagine putting all your thoughts into the bin line. Leave it at the front for now. You can pick it up later if you wish, in 2 minutes if you wish. But for now, just really relax. Sort of feet against the chair, feet back against the chair, feet against the floor, feeling relaxed, breathing in. Letting your mind go. 3, 2, 1. Just go back to a time when you felt relaxed, calm. And go back to that time when you felt, when you played and you were confident, you're in the zone and you were flowing. And just fully experience that time. Notice where you are, what you see, what you feel, what it was like to experience that time. And just give me a nod when you're there, connect with the feelings. Okay. What was it like?
Uncluttered, happy,
Yeah.
energetic.
Would that be the right resource to go into that tournament?
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's the ecology check. If you could have that, would you take it? That seemed pretty congruent to me, absolutely. Look out for that incongruence, because some people will tell you, for whatever reason, because they're there, yeah, that's the right thing for me. But use your acuity to realise. And if they say, no, it's not the right resource, then explore again for the right resource. The ecology check the consequences of. You want to find the right resource for the tournament. That's what's really important. You want to find the right resource for the tournament. So you have that resource. What we can do now is work towards connecting that mental state to specific kinesthetic action. As I mentioned earlier, in different sports, depending on the sport they play, it might be a tennis player, might bounce the ball a couple of times, it might be a cricket player, what cricket players in the past, they might, for example, every time they hit it, every time they get to a certain milestone in their runs, they might put the bat down and just fasten their gloves. It might be a footballer, for example, taking a free kick and just tap their foot before they put the ball down. It's just something discrete in their own mind. There's a light switch to connect those resources, which is key. Okay. Is there a specific action you could do to tap into those resources that would work for you in that environment?
Yeah, you could do a couple of waggles of the club.
Yeah.
Prior to your setup.
Okay. So that would be your connection. Okay. Because we haven't got a club in the room now, if we just choose an action at this point here that you could use that's practical, then obviously you can go out and do and use the club. So we're okay to run with thumb and finger just to demonstrate the process. Then when you go away from him, and I've seen this process, and I've demonstrated this process, and I've seen the power of the process work very rapidly. Even to the point that when I've run the courses in the past, for example, we've had golfers in the past, and we've done prior to the anchor, hitting the stroke, and after the anchor. And you see the stroke being a lot more effective than it was previously. So we're in this room at the moment, so we won't get the opportunity to do that as we are now, but we can get some feedback off you in due course as we go along. I'm going to get you to connect those emotions to that action. And the way to do that is to get you to go back to that time when you felt those resources. Okay. Now, some people will take you back and say, okay, list 3 or 4 times you felt those feelings, which is okay. I would generally be more inclined to not be too concerned about the quantity, more the quality. This is a very powerful time. This is just a little bit of best practice from me, from someone who's worked in sport for a very long time. Because I know some people say, okay, trace back 3 or 4 times. If those 3 or 4 times are okay, but you've got one time that's really compelling, then I would be more inclined to just focus on the real compelling one. Because that's going to be so powerful emotionally. The attachment will be a lot more powerful. Okay, so now moving forward, we've got the action. I'm going to guide you to experience those feelings. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, when you're just at that peak, I want you to connect your anchor and hold for 5 to 10 seconds. And then release once we start moving away from the peak. The idea is that neurologically, when you're at that peak, mentally, when you do your action, the two will connect. Just like have you ever come across the Pavlov dog experiment? Heard about that one before? Okay. Well, they used to put some food out and ring the bell. Okay. And the dog would come out. So eventually they take the food away, ring the bell, and the dog would salivate. I think the food was there. Okay. So the key is to build that connection between that and the state of mind that you want to be in that specific time. Okay. The mind can't tell the difference between real and non-reality. Okay. Think of a scary film. Your heart starts racing. You think, well, it's not real. So the mind finds it difficult to differentiate when you're in imagery and visualization. Okay. That's proven You can do your research, you can look into that, and you'll see that it's very, very minimal. As I said earlier before, there's a difference between confidence and competence as well when you're doing the anchor as well. So if someone comes to you and says they want to, I don't know, go away and do something that they're not skilled to do, then the effectiveness of the anchor might not be the right process to use within that situation. So they've got a presentation next week, but they've done a plan of preparation, they've done the subject area, they're not the competence in the world, so they do nothing for you. Okay. And also, if people say they haven't got that resource, you can look for resources in other areas of their life. Example, people come to me sometimes and say, well, they're not confident. It's very vague, isn't it? As I said before, I wouldn't be confident in brain surgery. Some people say they're not confident. They're confident driving, they're confident making a cup of tea. So they are confident in certain things, just certain things they might not be confident. If they're not competent, then it's probably not the right technique to use. If they are competent, okay, it's a technique that you could use to fulfill that level of potential they've got, and maybe even go above and beyond that, get more consistency, which is key. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes and really relax and fully experience that time when you were feeling confident, you were flowing, and in that zone that you mentioned earlier. I want you to go back to that time, and as soon as you find that time when you were confident in the zone and things were flowing, just notice where you were, what you felt, what it was like, where the feelings are. Let those feelings spread through every cell and muscle of your body. Let them intensify. And as soon as you get to a peak intensity, just press your anchor and you can hold. Okay, and just gradually release. And coming back to the here and now. When you've done the anchor once, it's worth going through the process 3 to 4 times just to get the connection there. Break state, because you don't want to carry those feelings through. And the way you could break state is change the subject, or alternatively you could ask the person, for example, what's their phone number backwards, to unscramble their thought process. You don't want to carry those feelings through. You could change the subject discreetly if you're talking to someone. Breaking state is just making sure that they don't carry those thoughts and feelings through the next time you go through the process again. So you're kind of unscrambling their mind and starting with a clean slate again. So we're going to go again. So could you connect to the resource? It was the right resource. Just some questions you want to ask in between. Once again, just really close your eyes and really relax and let yourself go. And I want you to go back to that time when you were calm, when you're in the zone, confident, fully engage in those feelings, and let those feelings intensify for every cell and muscle in the body. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what it's like to be in that situation. And as soon as you reach a peak intensity, just press your anchor and hold and release. And gradually come back to the here and now in your own time and place. Okay. Was that the same experience you went back to, or?
Yeah,
Same experience, was it the right experience again? Yeah. Brilliant. We break that again, phone on backwards to change the subject. Okay, and we'll do it one more time. Now, what I would say as well, with the people you're working with, whenever they do something really, really well, get them to stack their anchor. So if someone gives you praise, then just press your anchor. You know, I know certainly I do in my experience, if someone sends me a nice text or an email, I'll print it off. I can't print the text off, but I'll keep it there as long as I've got that phone. But I'll keep it there. Sometimes it's nice to have that reference point. You know, sometimes when you're having that sort of day where you think the whole world's against you type thing, you know, the other week I had one of those days. You know, for whatever reason, everything I did seemed to have gone to the pan, to be fair. But then, ironically, it was at that point I received an email of this person I'd helped a while ago saying how it changed their life. And I printed it, and it changed the whole complexion of the day. I thought, you know what, fantastic. bring that to lose worth there. If I've helped someone's life in that sort of way, then fantastic. So we always are going to have these days where you want to go back to it. So once again, just close your eyes and really relax and let yourself go. And once again, I want you to fully engage in that experience. So you're fully engaging in that experience. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel. And let those feelings magnify for every cell and muscle in your body. And when you're at peak intensity, just press your anchor. And hold, fantastic. And you're gradually coming back to the here and now in your own time and your own pace. Brilliant, and release. Okay, fantastic. Okay, and what we would do now is we could test the anchor. Now, in an ideal scenario, we could get the golf clubs out and go outside and ping it. Yet, it's probably not practical with time and remove golf courses. But one way we can do that is press the anchor one of two ways. We can just test fire it to see if the connection is building. And also, we can do some mental rehearsal, future pacing, actually visualizing what it would be like in that situation. There are two ways we can do that. And also, if your client, give them work to do. Give them some work to do. Give them the anchoring process, and get them to keep practicing it, keep going over it, keep working on it. Get them to talk to their coach, and take the technique to their coach, and go through it and work on it just before they're going to strike the ball, which is key. But we test fire the anchor. If you press your anchor now, do you feel a neurological connection?
Yeah.
Brilliant, and that's what you're looking for. The neurological connection building between the two. Now, to find the future pace, if we just close your eyes and really relax, one way to future pace is use the mind. Think of the scenario. You're getting up in the morning, you're getting ready. It's July the 5th. You're making your way to the golf course in County Derry. You're at the course, you're getting ready. Notice who you see, your friends, your colleagues, whoever you're with, what you're wearing, what people around you are wearing, any colours around you, what's being said. And you walk on the golf course. It's your turn to tee off now. It's approaching 9:22. And as you approach 9:22, I want you to press your anchor. Okay. And just notice how you feel having pressed your anchor. Okay. How does it feel to press your anchor? Calm, okay, brilliant. And just gradually come back to the here and now in your own time and pace. And that's the key, future pacing. You can create the scenario. Now create a scenario for that person, that situation. It's not always going to be practical to take the person out. I had